Today's video is brought to you by me and my patrons. I just launched a new 1.5-hour course on building your own decent sampler instruments. Everything from the sampling to the sound design to the coding to the UI to packaging it and getting it ready for release. If you sign up below, not only do you get access to all of the previous rewards, but you also get a special warm fuzzy feeling for being a better person than everybody else. Damn it. God! Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Thoughts? Same. I really enjoy writing. English class was absolutely my jam, and that's why I've been very happy with the direction I've been able to take this channel in over the last year or so, putting more effort into writing and telling stories and doing something more challenging and I personally think more interesting. The first thing I make myself write for any video is what I call the takeaway. In 10 seconds or less, what is the point and why should you care? You need to test your metal. That's the takeaway. This one, that's the point. Howdy doody, buckaroonies. If I've learned anything in my years of freelancing, it's that there's a special kind of regret that comes from accepting a project you are not at all prepared for. After a certain point in your career, it just doesn't make sense to keep grinding away doing every gig that comes your way. After a while, the $100 gigs stop making sense when there's a $1,000 gig on the table. And after a while of doing the $1,000 gigs, not every $1,000 gig is really worth your time. Sometimes things just aren't a good fit. And for me, this was one of those projects. So that's exactly why I decided to take it on. On paper, this project was pretty simple. I need to create some kind of demo for a new product bundle from one of my favorite audio companies. I get to do whatever I want with it. It doesn't have to be any sort of exhaustive presentation. I edit it down, they post it, and we both walk away happy. But there was one sort of big catch here. I needed to use a program to make the demo that I haven't used in nearly a decade. On paper, this project is a hard no. If I was to take on this project, the thing here is that not only do I need to create a professional quality result in a program I've essentially never properly used, but riding on the line here is not one, but two relationships with major companies in my industry. So the pressure is pretty real. The power of developing an ability as a freelancer to offer up a clear and firm no is really an art in and of itself, and it's something I absolutely recommend you practice now and again because it's a muscle that badly needs training if you want to survive in an independent creative career. But every once in a while, learning to say yes to a no project is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Your comfort zone is the silent killer. I think most of us would agree that taking on a project with this level of associated risk is not necessarily something any sane person would do. It's not really a good idea to work out of your own depth most of the time because you run the risk of looking like a total jackass. I can do some basic woodworking, but I'm probably not going to be building an award-winning Swanson chair anytime soon. But the thing with that mindset is that I'm talking myself out of ever doing it. There's a phrase I heard once that says, "A knight whose metal shines means their metal has never been tested." This is one of those times where I need to see what my own metal is made of, and I need to build that theoretical chair. As any creative will tell you, the initial time you invest with your medium of choice will inevitably be this sort of love-hate relationship. There's a huge learning curve to creativity, and there's just a fair amount of trial and error involved, and there's a lot of frustration that needs to take place to give you the experience that you need to really start working. In this case, due to my own work schedule with sound design work and client projects and YouTube and other stuff, I really only had a few days to pull this whole thing off. And as it turns out, learning a DAW in only a few days is actually pretty f***ing hard. Because I primarily work in sound design and post-production, composition-y stuff, my natural inclination with this project was to simply score a short film trailer or something like that using this bundle inside of FL Studio. And it turns out that that's a lot easier on paper than in practice. I cut together a trailer using some stock footage I found online, I threw on some color grading, fired up FL Studio, and got to work. I haven't used FL Studio in nearly a decade, and coming from a background of DAWs and workflows that are almost entirely the opposite, it was one of the most frustrating experiences I've ever had. I felt like a chimp trying to build a space station, and frankly, it was just embarrassing. There were so many times that I was about to give up on this project and simply bow out of it due to my own lack of understanding and just general ineptitude. After many angry outbursts and being on the verge of tears at a few points if I'm being honest, and several more failed attempts, I was really just hitting my creative limit here. For every 5 steps forward, I would get confused and frustrated and end up a mile back and ready to quit. The metal was being tested. I tried everything I could. Several more failed attempts later, I decided to give it one last shot. I called up my friend Ben Jordan and had him walk me through some of my own pain points to get the groundwork in order. Luckily, due to his nearly endless expertise here, I was able to finally get my own project back on track. The metal now had confidence welding it together. This is the real benefit of saying yes to what would normally be a no. Through that delusional provocation of perseverance, you find a new sense of appreciation for the thing you felt was so insurmountable or just incompatible before. What once were seen as flaws become the way of work. What once felt impossible becomes second nature. What once was a challenge becomes the experience. Or, as Ben so eloquently put it, sometimes the most powerful stuff has a learning curve, but that's how you get into the good shit. There's a video from Van Neistat where he says, if you want to tell a story, you need to have a surprise, and the better your surprise, the better your story. And this is the point in this story where we've reached that surprise. I woke up, came up here, sat down, and told myself that this is it. I have one more shot to make this session work, or I need to back out of this project. Do or do not, there is no try. I guess this is one of those times where it's important to remember that if you have 20 things that are 98% finished, you have 0 finished things. At this point, there's now a hard deadline at play, and sometimes that's exactly what you need to push yourself to get something done without overthinking all the bullshit along the way. Sometimes it's better to keep things simple. Sometimes you just need to shut up, dump the project on your desk, and get to work. Sometimes you can't prepare things in advance for the sake of a YouTube video. You just have to jump in and do it live. Step 1, gotta lay a foundation. Gotta give the thing existence. Step 2, details. Gotta give the thing life. Step 3, gotta add the defining elements. Gotta give the thing a face. Step 4, refine. Gotta give the whole thing purpose. Step 5, subtract. Gotta give the thing only the right things. Step 6, assess. Gotta give the thing one last look, and do not look back. Okay, The world is dying to know. Did it turn out good? I don't know. I tried. So I guess there's really nothing left to do at this point other than just ship it off and hope for the best. To quote my dad in his infinite wisdom, if you feel like the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. It's not really possible to use an axe without making it dull, nor is it possible to sharpen it without putting it to the stone and chipping away at it. It's really hard to admit to yourself when you're just not good at something, but it's in the willingness to not be good at it anyway, I think, that you really start to grow as a person or as a creator. So, if you feel like your metal is shining, I guess your homework assignment until next time is to go out and make it rust. Well, hey there. Welcome back. Another day and one good pep talk from my wife later, and here we are. That's it. That's the end. Everyone, get the fuck out. Go home. Very big thank you to my patrons for supporting the channel and making videos like this possible. If you want to become a patron and get access to a 1.5-hour course on building your own decent sampler instruments, as well as exclusive samples and presets and all that stuff, you could sign up with the link down below and get a special feeling of being a better person than everybody else. Very big thank you to UVI and ImageLine for involving me in this whole project. I hope it turned out good, or God, that's going to be embarrassing. If you want more videos like this, you can subscribe. It's free. I've been told you should ask people to do that. And I post videos on here, and I'll be in them. I'll be there, right there with you the whole time, and we'll get through this together. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And of course, as always, I hope this inspires you to get out there and make something awesome.